Professor Pettis is right, then this is what you might call overcapacity. The massive Waigaoqiao Shipyard is one of the largest in China. This state-owned company produces a new ship every 2 weeks. To build these giants of the sea, it relies on a workforce of 20,000 people. And employment stability is the government's #1 priority.
We do have a problem with too many ships, too much steel. At some point you have to sell this stuff, and if you have difficulty selling the stuff, then at some point in the future you're going to write it down and take losses. You're going to have a negative impact.
The world economic crisis led to a collapse in international demand for Chinese goods. So China launched a massive $800 billion stimulus package. It brought forward building projects and ordered state-controlled banks to increase loans. Yet many ship buyers are in Europe, and there are now worrying signs emerging in that part of the world. Some say the best example of excess capacity in China is the real estate market. In the flashy financial capital Shanghai, there's been an explosion in both the number of new properties and also the price of them. There's concern that this is a bubble getting ready to burst. Dominating the new part of town, known as Pudong, is the tallest building in mainland China, the Shanghai World Financial Center. Chinese people call it the bottle opener, and the outlook from its roof is truly something to behold. Nearly half a kilometre above ground, you can see how much money is going into real estate in Shanghai. And from this view, you could almost believe that China's building boom will go on forever. The Japanese company Mori Building constructed this giant skyscraper.
You can see some of the older buildings.
In exploring the tower with company spokesman Michiho Kishi, you do get a feeling that you're on top of the world. If I came to this side of the river 20 years ago, what would I have seen here?
The only sort of things you were able to see in this area 20 years ago was a shipyard and there's a dock.
But no towers at all, no tall buildings?
Nothing, almost nothing. So it looks like the countryside.
In just 2 decades, a small forest of towers has emerged on Shanghai's East Bank. But recently, some developers, tempted by high prices, are said to be building far more than what's needed.
At the beginning period, the US ran a zero balance.
Monitoring developments like this is an elite group.
This may help increase the interest rates.
It's not a normal class. This is known as the Shadow Reserve Bank.
Why do you think sell that kind of company's share to investors?
They act like they are the central bank of China. These 15 students and then a few observers probably know more about central banking and monetary issues than all but, 200 or 300 people in the world that work at central banks.
And they have some sort of powers.
Back in Beijing, we see another side of our former Wall Street banker, Michael Pettis. He runs the band venue D22. It's a bar that specialises in giving unknown bands like Rustic a place to get their start.
What's happening in China is something that maybe happens once every 100 years or so. You don't really get too many chances to participate in something like this. It just won't stop being more interesting. Every year it was more interesting than the last, so it's become very, very difficult to leave.